In the early morning hours of November, when the chill of autumn lingers in the air and the scent of freshly baked bread drifts from kitchens across the United States, one bird takes center stage, its golden, crisp skin resting at the center of countless dining tables, a symbol of bounty, tradition, and the enduring relationship between humans and the natural world. It has earned its place as the crowning centerpiece of the American holiday that unites families and friends in a celebration of gratitude. This is the Thanksgiving turkey. To understand how the turkey came to be so central to this quintessentially American holiday, we must first travel back in time, tracing its origins and its relationship with humans from the ancient past to the present. The story of the turkey begins in the thick forests of North America, where the wild turkey, Meleagris gallopavo, roamed for thousands of years before being domesticated. This large ground-dwelling bird was native to the region stretching from southern Canada through the United States and into Mexico. With its distinctive fan-shaped tail and iridescent plumage, the wild turkey was a striking sight, and it had adapted to a life in the woodlands, foraging for seeds, fruits, and insects. Turkeys are part of a family of birds known as Phasianidae, and while their ancestors were likely small and elusive, the wild turkey of the Americas would grow into a formidable presence. Native American tribes, such as the Aztecs, had domesticated turkeys long before European explorers arrived on the continent. These birds were raised primarily for their meat, but also for their feathers, which were used in ceremonial attire and decorations. The domestication of the turkey was an early testament to the ingenuity of indigenous peoples, who recognized the potential of this bird, not just for food, but for its role in the larger cultural and spiritual world. As European explorers ventured westward in the 15th and 16th centuries, they encountered a landscape that was both familiar and strange. For the first time, the wild turkey was brought into the broader gaze of the Old World. The bird's first brush with Europe came not directly from the Americas, but through the Ottoman Empire, where it was introduced to the European continent via trade routes. The name Turkey itself is thought to have originated from this route. Europeans mistakenly believed the birds had come from Turkey, though they were, in fact, native to North America. The bird's exotic appearance and large size made it a subject of great interest to those in Europe, and soon the turkey became a prized commodity. By the early 17th century, it had been successfully bred in captivity and was seen as a source of meat that was both plentiful and delicious. But it would take a few more centuries for the turkey to become an integral part of American culture, especially within the context of Thanksgiving. The legend of the first Thanksgiving in 1621 is woven deeply into the fabric of American folklore. Pilgrims and Wampanoag Native Americans gathered at Plymouth to celebrate a bountiful harvest, and though we may never know the exact details of the meal, it is unlikely that turkey was the focal point of the feast. Historical records suggest that the Pilgrims and their indigenous neighbors enjoyed venison, seafood, corn, beans, squash, and wildfowl, but the turkey did not yet occupy the central role it would come to assume centuries later. Indeed, the turkey was still very much a wild bird, hunted for its meat rather than raised on farms. It would take time for this iconic bird to transition from being a rare treat to the mainstay of the American table. Over the next few generations, as European settlers continued to expand into the vast lands of North America, they encountered not only wild turkeys, but also began to breed them for domestic use, refining the turkey into the form we recognize today. It wasn't until the 19th century, during the era of the early American Republic, that the turkey began to gain recognition as the quintessential food of Thanksgiving. The seeds of the modern Thanksgiving holiday were sown in the New England states, where the harvest festivals celebrated by the Pilgrims were slowly evolving into a more structured national tradition. As the United States began to establish its identity, symbols of abundance and unity were needed to bind the country together. Enter Sarah Josepha Hale, a writer and editor who, in 1827, began a campaign to establish Thanksgiving as a national holiday. Hale, best known for writing the nursery rhyme Mary Had a Little Lamb, was a tireless advocate for the holiday, and it was through her persistent efforts that in 1863, President Abraham Lincoln proclaimed Thanksgiving a national holiday. By this time, the turkey had begun to evolve from a seasonal luxury to an essential part of the Thanksgiving feast. From the Pilgrims' modest feast in 1621 to the extravagant meals served across the nation today, the Thanksgiving turkey has come to represent far more than just the food on our plates. It is a symbol of resilience, of culture, of history, and of the enduring spirit of gratitude that continues to define the holiday. Each November, as families gather to give thanks, the turkey stands proud at the center of the table, a reminder of how far we have come and how much there is still to appreciate.